Well, welcome everyone to the Intro to Virtual Partnering and Event Overview webinar for 2021 BIO Asia-Taiwan Conference and Exhibition. We are so happy to have you today and appreciate you for joining us today, tonight, or whatever time that you may be joining today. My name is Willie Reeves. I'm Chief Business Strategy Innovation Officer at BIO, and I'm pleased to be here with Dr. Lin.
Yeah, so pleased to be with everybody. Thank you, Willie.
So we've got some great things lined up today, and we're really excited to share with you. But really quickly, before we move on, we'd like to give a thank you to our partnering system sponsor, IQVIA, and we are certainly grateful for their support. Please note that we're going to have a question and answer session toward the end of the webinar, so you can submit questions as we're going along and speaking using the Q&A panel in your Zoom, or you can also type in questions once we get to the Q&A session. Also, we are recording this webinar live right now, so everyone who is registered for the webinar, regardless of whether or not they were able to attend live, will receive a copy of the recording as well as the slides here in a few days. And we'll also post the recording to the BIO YouTube channel. So Dr. Lin, I will turn it over to you for the agenda and to talk about the conference.
Yes, so let's go on for the next slide, please. For the overview of the event. Thank you. Next slide, please. And the event actually, the core will be the conference, the company presentation and one-on-one, and also exhibitions. We also have several satellite conferences provided by different organizers and sponsors. But this year, I think in order to have more networkings and also have let the attendee have more time to engage and interact to each other, we have 2 days early access for the online company presentation, and also 2 days early access, 3 days early access for the online exhibition, so that people would know each other better. And to cope with this kind of early access, we have 1 day earlier starting for the one-on-one partnering. Of course, Willie will share with us almost everything about how to utilize this year's one-on-one partnering system. Well, so that for everybody, I think most of us would attend and also even present for your company presentations. And also, we would like to use the one-on-one system to engage for the future collaboration and to meet with each other. So that in this year program, we have the early access for us to get better prepared. So starting from the 20th of the July, the one-on-one partnering will continue for 5 days and 24 hours for each day. And of course, this system could also provide you as a very useful tool, as a database, and for you to follow up after the conference for almost a year. So most of the company presentation would have their pre-recorded 15 minutes presentation, which can be searchable and on-demand style. And of course, we will have a wonderful program for conference, for exhibitions, and for the satellite conference. Next one, please. So the hot topic for this year, the main thing will be a brave new era for biotechnology, because at this moment, some country has passed the hard time for the pandemic, and some are opening up and some are fighting for the pandemic at this moment. So that this year we would looking forward for the future, not only for the future technology, but also for the future landscaping for the industry, future for the investment, so that the combat pandemic would have different phases to come up for the, from the conference, and from the first day until the last day. It will base on the breakthrough and game-changing technologies with the tool from precision medicines and the digital health. And of course, behind it will be the pumping into the investment and the collaborations. Next one, please. So the focal points will be the pandemic control after vaccination. It will cover the discovery of the vaccine, discover new treatments, and the whole marketing and landscaping and the policy and the regulations. Then under these situations, what will be the future and what will be the investment in early stage companies? And of course, cell therapy, gene therapy, and other advanced therapies, which can become a main portion for precision health, will be discussed for every day. And every day we will also have investments sections and for the regional collaboration and partnerships. Next one, please. So this will be the main program in addition to the common presentation. For the first day, there will be the mega trends for the market and policy regulation and investments. And under this framework, we will start talking about how big pharma could collaborate with startup biotech companies, and how could growth with exit strategy in capital markets, and also with in this world of data-driven time, how precision health could help from the health data, including the national insurance, health insurance data. Second day will be the pandemic control for different kinds of, from diagnosis, from vaccine, from new treatment, and also different way of doing clinical trials, and also the whole thing from the point of view of public health. And then it will lead us to the public and private partnership for the future precision health. And another investment section will be focused on how could we unleash the potential and how could we unlock the hidden value of research in Asia. And another section that will be AI, artificial intelligence enabled smart health skills. On third day, that will be cutting edge, game-changing therapies, including using cytokine and interleukins to fight the pandemic for COVID-19 and also other disease. And advances in cell and gene therapies, and the story about immunotherapies. We also have two international forums held together. One is for design for the innovative medical device through the under the umbrella of biodesign, global biodesign, and also we would have the regional collaboration section, a cooperation with the Asian Biotech Organization, AFOB. So almost all the Asian countries will be invited to talk about their niches and how to collaborate with each other. Next one, please. So these are our partners for each section. You can notice that we're including the multinational companies, major investment bankings and consulting companies, and also different association and our partners. Most importantly, of course, that there will be the BIO and the BIO's associations. So that will be our partners. And next one, please. There will be lots of partners and multinational collaborations, and they are all available for the one-on-one meetings. So like I just mentioned, we do have a huge line of almost 100 well-renowned speakers, including Nobel laureate. Michael Houghton is the most fresh laureate. He is the winner of last year, 2020. He will mention about he himself is the man behind the discovery of the virus of the hepatitis C and D. So he will share us the most updated treatment for virus, including the COVID-19. And Bob Leonard, one of the major inventors, he's also the founder of the vaccine company Moderna, and he will be brief mention about how the technology and innovation putting together. And the three renowned Glasgow Award winners, Albany Prize winners, and Japan Prize winners will mention about how the cytokine treatment can prevent and also to treat the COVID-19. And also something related with policy, with market trends, with investments, and the point of view from the multinational companies, and the point of view from the government policies. So we have approximately 100 speakers of this kind of calibers will share with us, and also utilize the online platform to interact with all the attendees. Next one, please. So like I said, we would have early access for the company presentations. We have already more than 100 companies will come in to present, and also the list is adding on at this moment. Next one, please. Next one. So those are also the multinational companies who attend for the exhibition and also for the one-on-one. Next one, please. So I think most of you have already registered, but if your friends or colleagues would like to do so, to add on, we do have two different kind of package. One is for the partnering only. The second one, the package A, will have the basic partnerings, and also we can enjoy the full access for all the conventions, including to attend all the sections with those world-renowned speakers, interact with them, also to attend the satellite conference. Of course, the one-on-one partnering will be the core of everything for the package A and B, and also we will be able to know each other through the online exhibition. We have more than 500 companies will participate in the online exhibition. Next one, please. So Willie, would you like to mention more about this wonderful one-on-one partnering system, please?
Of course, Dr. Lin, thanks so much. And thanks for telling us about all of the great sessions and wonderful speakers. Really, I think that BIO Asia-Taiwan offers, really world-renowned speakers talking about a variety of great and timely topics. So we're all looking forward to that. So as we dive into the BIO one-on-one partnering system overview, I will cover a couple of the key points here about how the partnering system works. So first is that there is 24-hour partnering, and that means that you can control when you want to meet, whether that is early in the morning, late at the night, or anywhere in between. BIO has also recently improved the system with integrated Zoom meeting links that makes it super easy and a very automated process for being able to have your virtual meetings. They can also be automatically rescheduled and scheduled, or you can choose your own meeting time. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And you can, if you like, also have the flexibility to choose your own meeting location if, for instance, Zoom isn't compatible with your company's security protocols or that sort of thing. So really quickly on the 24-hour partnering, and we'll look more at this shortly, but you'll see two time zones in your partnering calendar. On the left, you will see the conference time zone, which is for Taipei Standard Time. And then on the right, the partnering system automatically detects your local time zone for wherever you are so that you can see your meeting schedule conveniently in the time zone that makes the most sense for you. And you can also change your time zone at any time in your delegate profile. Now, this slide is actually quite important, so I'll talk quite a little bit about this. So to be clear, you have many options with BIO Asia-Taiwan, and we've really made some enhancements to the system since last year's experience. If you happened to join us for the recent BIO Digital 2021 conference this June, it will be a very similar process to what you've just experienced there. But there are a few options for how you can get your meetings scheduled. And so starting on the left is kind of maximum control. This is if, for instance, you are someone who really wants to have very tight control of their calendar. You want to choose the time for every meeting because perhaps you have many other internal meetings or other things going on during the conference. So in that case, you can self-schedule or choose your own meeting time. And let's say your company doesn't permit Zoom or something like that, you could even put in your own meeting link. We have a couple of people sometimes that will use this option. The sort of in-between option is self-scheduling. So that means selecting your meeting time, but allowing the system to assign a BIO Zoom link. And then the most popular and most convenient option, frankly, is the auto-scheduling, kind of fully automatic option, which is where the auto-scheduler would assign a time to your meetings and then also assign a BIO Zoom link. So this is what 95% of people typically do, but the power of BIO one-on-one partnering is that you've got that flexibility to do what makes the most sense for you. Now, in the partnering calendar, which we will take a look at shortly, you can also access all of the educational programming that Dr. Lin was highlighting earlier. So you'll see, for example, in the system, a keynote section, and you can see all of these different sessions that were mentioned earlier. And this makes it really easy for you to kind of manage your entire conference experience, both your partnering meetings and any educational sessions that you may want to attend. And we'll look when we get into the live demo at how you can add each of these items to your calendar. But before we get to the live demo, let's talk about some strategies that will really help you to be effective in using BIO one-on-one partnering. So these are kind of the 5 core steps to partnering, if you will. First is that when you, well, really the first step is, of course, make sure you register for BIO Asia-Taiwan. Either the partnering fair or the full access package will allow you access to the system. Once you have logged in, you can create or update your company profile. And I say update because if you have been, for example, to BIO Asia-Taiwan last year or to any other BIO partnering events, the system will automatically import your most recent profile for you. Then once you get in, very important is to input your calendar availability so that the system knows when you are available to meet. Then you'll want to be sure to search for partners, really use that search section, use the advanced search in particular. There are a lot of great features in there, and we'll look at a few of those a little bit later. And make sure that you are kind of logging into your message center periodically. People will continue to register as we get closer to the conference. So making sure that you are going in there regularly will be helpful in ensuring that you get the most meetings. And then the last step is to either schedule your meetings at the time that you prefer, or if you just leave your meetings accepted in your message center, the auto scheduler will swoop in magically and assign them a time and a BIO link. So these are kind of the core steps. And as you're thinking about the types of companies that you want to meet and the meeting requests that you may want to send to those companies, here's some best practices to help you really make the most of your experience. So first is really thinking thoughtfully about your company profile. And if you maybe have been to other BIO events or on other webinars, you may have heard us describe this before, but it's because it's really important. Your company profile is sort of like a Google search. So you putting in the right keywords will ensure that people can find you more easily. And you'll want to start requesting meetings early. If you wait to log into the partnering system, until a few days before the conference, people's schedules will have begun to fill up and you may not be able to get all of the meetings that you want. So we definitely recommend that you start early and also check often. And we'll talk a little bit more about the subject line here in a second, but if you think about anything that you receive, emails, etc., you want to have a targeted and compelling subject line that will encourage the other people to open your meeting request. Along with that, when we talk about customization, it's also really important to target your meeting requests. And the reason is our data really shows that more targeted meeting requests, ones that mention things like specific reasons why you're interested in partnering with that company or a particular asset or product or service that you have found to be interesting from that company, those sorts of customized requests are a lot more likely to get accepted and turn into meetings rather than the kind of copy and paste templates sending the same thing to many different companies. Those are a lot less likely to be accepted. And then be sure to follow up as well. If you haven't gotten a response to a meeting request, it is not the end of the world. You can always use the reply only button in your message center to send a message back to that other company. Now, talking a little bit about your subject line, let's present an imaginary situation. Imagine that you walk into your office or maybe your home office and you have an inbox full of emails, 125 emails, and all of them have the subject line email. Where do you start? Which one do you tackle first? Where do you start to read, right? It's a difficult decision because you don't know what the emails are about. It's exactly the same concept if you send a meeting request and you call them all meeting requests. It's literally the worst meeting subject title that there is. So the more detail that you put in, again, the more likely that you're able to get those requests accepted, and just treat it the way you'd want to treat your inbox. You don't want everyone to send you emails titled email. So avoid doing that if you can with your subject line as well. So again, personalize your meeting requests, your subjects. If you see that you've got meetings that don't have any mutual availability, and we'll look at examples of that later, then make sure to just open up some additional time slots on your calendar. We'll look at each of these features, but make sure to include country codes when you put in your contact information in your delegate profile, and take advantage of the advanced search. And then be sure to also log in regularly into your message center and review those meeting requests. Now, a couple of helpful features that we'll look at shortly during the live demo. We have a new feature where there is a LinkedIn button that you can add to your delegate profile by putting in your LinkedIn link. And that's great. And this was based on customer feedback. A lot of people said, hey, I like to go in LinkedIn and connect with the people that I'm meeting with or sending a meeting request with. So this will make it even easier for you to connect outside of the conference with those folks. We'll also look at filters inside the message center and the advanced search that will really help you to target the people that you want to meet with. And there is also a new feature to share your contact information. Actually, we've had this feature now for over a year on your meeting request to help with that offline follow-up. And then we'll also look a little bit at some exports as well. All right, so without further ado, we are going to hop into the Partnering System live demonstration, and I'm going to take a drink of water. So let's just jump over here into BIO one-on-one partnering. So once you log into the system, you'll see a page that looks very similar to the one that is in front of us right now. So this is the home page for BIO Asia-Taiwan's partnering system. On the left side here, you'll see an overview of your company's profile. In the center, you can see how many meetings your company has scheduled, and you can download or print your calendar. In this third panel here, you can see an overview of your company's message center, how many meetings are accepted, and so forth. On the right side, we've included helpful information such as the link to register for today's webinar. This will shortly become a link to our video that will be hosted on YouTube. And we include some other handy tips and tricks and customer service information in this panel as well. Please note that at any time you'll always see this dark blue bar at the top, and that will allow you to navigate between the major sections of the system. You can always send a new meeting request from here. And don't forget, over at the right side, if you click on your profile picture, which until you've uploaded one will just be a gray silhouette, you can also edit your personal profile. If you have other conferences you've registered for, you can switch. You can log out or also access your notification preferences. So now let's take a look at the company profile section. So this one is really important. Think of your company profile as your impression to other companies. So whether you are seeking some cross-border alliances, maybe you're looking at M&A, perhaps you're considering R&D deals or investment, whatever it is, your company profile is going to help other companies to find you and help you to really put your best face forward at the conference. So don't just take 2 minutes to kind of copy and paste some marketing information in, but really be thoughtful about your company profile. Remember that BIO imports automatically your most recent company profile from previous events to save you time. So if when you log in, you already have a lot of information filled, that's great. Just take a couple of minutes to review and update anything that may have changed. So a couple of key parts of the company profile here. At the top, this is for your company logo, not your headshot. I repeat, this is for your company logo, not your face. So you can upload your logo at any time in this area. If you do want to upload your headshot for your delegate profile, we'll look at that in just a second. And there are many different fields that we have created within the company profile to help you to find other companies, to help them find you. But I'm going to go over sort of the top ones that are most popularly searched on. So first at the top is company type. So this will help you to select what type of company that you are, and if multiple types are applicable, then that's great. You can select those. I will issue the disclaimer that you should not just click a bunch of company types to thinking that you may appear more in search results, because it makes you appear a little bit less, a little bit less relevant or a little bit more spammy, and we don't want that. The brief description, this is really important because the brief description is what's going to show up in the search section immediately under your company name. So that's really, you want to make this very targeted. You get about 255 characters to put in here, so make that thoughtful. Your full description of your company is one of the key fields that people are really reading and reviewing in your company profile. And one kind of quick tip here is to think about any acronyms for example, particular diseases that you may be talking about. So let's say your company works on non-small cell lung cancer. You'll want to write that out, but you may also want to put in parentheses NSCLC. Someone may be searching on the acronym and not on the full term. Also, the licensing objectives. This is really important. We know that lots of companies are really focused on their licensing goals, so you can determine whether you're seeking in or out licensing opportunities or both with this field. In the financial section, you can include a variety of information here as well. And in the therapeutic areas field, you can also see any of the therapeutic areas. This goes very, very deep. We've got 3,200 plus indications inside of this area, so you can really go very deep into the specific disease areas that you may be working on. The financials information, this is especially important if you are seeking funding, if you're public, private, etc. Put that here. Please do be sure to include your website, your URL. Don't make people Google it and look it up. That's just an extra step. So if you drop your URL, that's great, as well as your country and, if applicable for North America, your state. Really quickly in the center here, assets, services, and market products. So as you think about those, assets are things like drug assets, vaccines, diagnostics, antibodies, cell therapies, to name a few. Market products here, you can think of things that you might see on an exhibit for hospital hardware, even biofuels. And then services, basically anything that could be considered a service of your company, consulting, legal services, or for example, BIO Business Solutions, BIO's cost savings program for members. And then quickly here on the right side, you can see an overview of the delegates on your profile. And I want to call attention to the content section here. So this is really a great area that sometimes is overlooked. And what the content allows you to do is you can upload presentations, pitch decks, documents, and that sort of thing, even short videos that are less than 10 megabytes in size. You can upload that kind of content here and make that really attach it as a linked resource on any of your meeting requests. The one thing to keep in mind is that this content, like everything else on your company profile here, is public and searchable inside the partnering system. So you wouldn't want to put any private or confidential information in this section. Now, let's take a look at the delegate profile here. So I'm going to go up to the upper right-hand corner and click Edit Your Personal Profile. And that'll give me my delegate profile. The circle at the top, this is where I upload my face or my headshot, not the area here that's for your company logo. The time zone, you can drop your time zone in here, although you don't really have to. The system will automatically detect that for you. And we really recommend that you at least include your job title, a little bit of information on your professional background. And then if you just paste in your full LinkedIn link here, so be sure to include the HTTPS and www. If you include that LinkedIn link, when people click on your delegate profile, they'll have a LinkedIn profile button that will take them right over to your profile. So that's a really great feature. And then here in the bottom, you have the delegate contact information section. So you can optionally fill this out with your email and preferred phone number. And then when you're in your message center, you can go and select to share that contact information with other people. But do note that BIO protects your privacy, Taiwan BIO protects your privacy, and so the contact information is not kind of publicly searchable and exportable. It's really only shared if you explicitly select to share it with another company. Now, let's go and take a look at the search section. So first, the search is organized in 5 tabs. That's companies, delegates, assets, market products, and services. So you can always do a basic text search using the search bar here. There's also the ability to export your search results into Excel if you maybe want to take them for reviewing offline. So let's say, for example, we want to do a search on oncology, so I can just type in kind of a basic keyword here. And as we start looking through company profiles, I might find something that's interesting. So let's look quickly at a company profile. For this particular company, I can use the Request a Meeting button. If you have any prior meetings with that company, one great feature in BIO's one-on-one partnering system is you'll be able to see any prior meeting request. Even if it was a year or more than that ago, you can see that history and even read what your meeting request thread was, so that whether it was you or a colleague that was taking that meeting, you can go back and recap on that information. Great feature of the partnering system. You can also make private notes that are private to you and your colleagues in the partnering system from your company here and access those notes. You can bookmark a company profile as well as print or export it to PDF. So as you're reviewing profiles, you can see all of the different types of information, and this company's done a great job of putting in a really robust profile describing the different indications that they cover, therapeutic areas, financials, assets, and so forth. So make sure that you are really doing a robust job of including that type of information. Another thing to point out, I'm just going to go ahead and clear this search, is the advanced search. So in this section, there's a lot of stuff that you can do, and we really encourage you to take advantage of the advanced search because there are many features in here that frankly are just going to save you a lot of time and make your experience easier in whittling down the companies that you would like to meet with. So for example, you can narrow down by specific company types, even whether you've met a company before. You can look through the therapeutic areas. And one really great feature that we are asked about frequently is the company registration date. So maybe, for instance, you have a habit of logging into the partnering system every Monday and Thursday. So you may only want to see companies that have registered in the last week. So you can do that here and select your time frame, or even click a custom filter and even pop up a little calendar and choose the dates that you want to see companies who have registered since that time. This will just save you time in not needing to look through the profiles of companies that you have already seen before. And then quickly over here, there are also advanced search filters for delegates and assets. You can look at development phase, clinical indications, MOA, mechanism of action, all of that, as well as for market products and services. So I would definitely encourage you to take advantage of the advanced search as much as possible. It will be able to save you a lot of time and be really helpful. Now, let's jump over into our partnering calendar. So as I mentioned before, the calendar is going to show you 2 time zones always. Everyone is going to see the Taipei time here as kind of a universal point of reference. And then the system knows that I am in Eastern time here because I'm based in Washington, D.C. And so it will also show me my local time zone. So the first thing to know about the partnering calendar is that by default, your calendar is completely unavailable. So when you first log in, all of these time slots are going to be red, which means they're not available to take any meetings. So you'll need to go in and change your availability to switch some of these time slots and make them available. And just remember that when you're doing that, to go through all of the 5 days, because BIO Asia-Taiwan gives you 5 awesome days of partnering opportunities. So make sure to set your availability for each of those days. Now let's look at a couple of specific availability features. One is the mark as available from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. button here. And what that will do is just open all of those time slots for you in your local time zone. So it's kind of trying to open your business day basically, and you can do that for any of the partnering days here. And again, don't forget to update all of those days of your calendar. And if you want to update an entire day, that means all 24 hours to be available or unavailable, you can do that here. Just remember, that means if you say you're available at 3 a.m. in your time zone, and you get a meeting at 3 a.m., that's because you said you were, so the system may assign you there. So just also be sure to carve out time for breaks and to get some rest to make sure you are as productive as possible. A couple of other things here about the calendar. You can use the name drop down here to select the calendar of any of your colleagues. So the partnering system is very collaborative in that sense, and you can, for example, see meetings that your colleagues are taking and maybe add yourself to those meetings. You can also add personal events and personal notes. So this is great for things like if you have an outside meeting that's not part of the conference, you can indicate those things here. So for example, I put in call with Sylvia here at 10 o'clock. And then also when we're looking at the calendar, anything in dark blue, that's going to be a scheduled partnering meeting. And once your meetings are scheduled with a link, they'll be displayed right here in your calendar, as well as in your message center. Scheduled meetings will also be pushed directly into your Outlook calendar, so you can also navigate with that. So there are loads of different ways to be able to access your calendar. Speaking of accessing your calendar, you can also export it in a whole variety of different formats here, PDF, Excel, whether your individual or your company calendar, and the external export file as well. One more thing to look at while we are in the calendar section is the great programming opportunities that Dr. Lin was highlighting earlier. So for example, here we have the keynotes kind of track, and you can see all of the different sessions that are happening. I've already added a couple of these to my calendar for Wednesday of the week, but let's say that you see a session that you think is interesting, you can simply click add here, and the system will ask you whether or not you want to be available for partnering meetings. Now, this is important, so I'll click yes if I want to kind of attend this particular session, but I would take a meeting over this. The meeting would be higher preference. I would click yes, I do want to be available for partnering. And I'll click no if I really want to make sure that I definitely have time to attend this session and don't get a meeting scheduled over it. So you can just make that choice there. You can also view a full list of all the sessions by clicking the View All button here. Now, let's jump over into the Message Center. So this is really where you're going to spend quite a bit of your time after you have started to search for companies inside the partnering system. So a couple of things. We have some filters over here, so you can look at your incoming and outgoing requests, unread messages, and even filter by your meeting request status to help you quickly figure out where you want to go. The system, when you have a new accepted meeting request, will give you a little kind of icon over here to point that out so that you are sure to review those. So make sure to pay attention to that. And you can also export your message center at any time should you wish to, for example, view those meeting requests into in an Excel format. So let's look at a couple of different examples of different types of meeting requests. So I've already, let's say, identified some companies. I've sent them a meeting request in the search screen, or I've sent them a meeting request using the new request button. And we've got some great requests in here from companies that are interesting. So let's say you want to accept a meeting request. So I've got one that looks like it's incoming here, and maybe I've already reviewed this company's profile and I know that I'm interested in them. So what I'll do here is click accept request, and I can type in a message here. We're just speaking with you. And if I want to, I can add any linked resources to my profile here. So again, that is those things. Maybe we want to talk about BIO membership, for instance. I'll click on that. You can also add any other participants from your company's profile here using the choose button. And I'll go ahead and click accept. So now the system is telling me that the meeting needs to be scheduled, and I want to go ahead and take care of that. So I'll click schedule now. So now what I'm presented with is a screen, and there's kind of a lot going on here, but what you're looking for is a green time slot, because that means it is mutually available for you and for the other participants from the meeting. So it looks like I've got a time slot here, 3 o'clock my time. That works great, and both Tony and I are available. So I'll click on that slot, and I have two options. So this is one of the pieces where you are able to have some of that flexibility with your meeting scheduling. You can either use a virtual meeting link provided by the event, and that means that the system is going to assign you a BIO Zoom link, and each Zoom link is private to each meeting, so you don't have to worry about getting Zoom bombed. We worked very hard on a lot of those features to make sure that it was safe and secure for you. Or you can enter your own virtual location, which means that you're going to be putting in your own link, kind of generating your own information. This is a lot less commonly used of an option. So I want it to be a little bit of an easier process. So I'm going to click use a virtual meeting link provided by the event. I get a little confirmation page. I'll just check this information here. It shows it both in the conference time as well as my local time zone. And then I will click confirm and schedule. Don't forget to click the confirm button there. And you see the system has instantly assigned a Zoom link that's displayed here. So you'll show virtual meeting and you can always copy the information. You can copy those location details. So right away, you've already got your meeting link assigned. You don't have to wait by using that option through the BIO partnering system. Now, let's say, for instance, that you have a meeting and you want to reschedule it to another time. The time that you've got now really isn't going to work for some reason. So what you'll do in that case is just find that meeting request and click on the reschedule button here. It's important to note that you are given kind of all of the control that you want with the partnering system for BIO Asia-Taiwan. So you can reschedule your meetings at any time. So, all right, my current time isn't working very well for me, and you can see your current time because it's the dark blue block here. Speaking of the block colors, let's talk about those. So as we discussed earlier, green is a mutually available time slot, and that's really what you're looking for to schedule your meetings. Yellow means that someone is unavailable for that meeting, and in this case, we can see that it is me. I'm not open in that time slot, so if I wanted to schedule my meeting there, I'd want to open my calendar. And red would mean that there is a conflicting meeting that someone from either company has, and I can see that I'm going to be in another meeting there. So I'll look for one of these green time slots. Let's say we're going to take maybe this one in the evening, my time. And if I wanted to enter in my own location, again, I would click that here. But I'm going to go ahead and take the easier option that most folks use, and that's the virtual meeting provided by the event. Confirm the time, and then click confirm and schedule, and my meeting is immediately rescheduled, and it shoots over an update via email as well as an Outlook invitation to all of the meeting participants. And as meetings get scheduled, rescheduled, or canceled, they're automatically updated on your Outlook calendar as well. So some other partnering systems make you go and download a new version of your calendar all the time. It's very confusing and it's very manual. We don't do that. We make the process as automatic as possible for you. A couple of things to note with scheduling is that a participant from either company, yours or the other, can schedule the meeting, and there is no special etiquette around whether the meeting request sender or recipient schedules a meeting. It doesn't really matter. Also keep in mind that should you decide to leave an accepted meeting request as just accepted, as long as it has mutual availability, the auto scheduler comes in twice per day, and then more frequently even during the conference, to assign a time and a BIO meeting link to those meetings. What does that mean for you? It means that if you are the person who wants to have more control over your calendar, let's say you've got other meetings with your BD team or your boss or your staff, you can schedule all of those things. Make sure you block those in your partnering calendar, and you may want to choose the specific times for each of your meetings so you make sure that you don't accidentally double book yourself. If you, for example, are a person who maybe you've blocked off your entire calendar, you've told all your colleagues, hey, I'm at BIO Asia-Taiwan digital, I'm not going to be taking kind of outside meetings, then you may just want to leave the automatic option there. But let's say you have an accepted meeting and you see this red flag that says no mutual availability. That means that there's not a mutually available time slot in between all of the participants on the meeting. So there's a couple steps to follow in this case. The first thing to do is let's take a look at the schedule button so we can see what the scheduler says is going on. So we see there's a lot of yellow, and I click on these ones and it looks like it could be me, for example, that is unavailable. So the first thing to do would be to open up additional availability in your calendar. And you can either do that directly in the calendar here, or if I click the Edit Participants button, I can also click View Calendar on myself here. And then, for example, maybe I want to open up some additional time slots at a particular time, then I can make those changes in here. So just make sure that you are taking sort of these steps to resolve any mutual availability issues. Also note that while you are scheduling meetings, you can also add other colleagues to a meeting. So maybe I want to, or even swap, maybe I want to take myself off and have my colleague Nicholas take this meeting. So I'll add him in there. And it looks like there's a lot of conflicting meetings here, so I may want to have Nicholas edit his calendar. So just as a solution to kind of show you how to do that, I'll click View Calendar. It looks like Wednesday has some times that could potentially work. So I'm going to open up a couple of slots on Nick's afternoon. He's also based here in Washington, D.C. And then save. And so once I've done that, you see that those slots have immediately updated and they're now showing as available. So I could go in and do the regular process for assigning a meeting link. We are beginning to run short on time, it looks like here, but we have covered kind of all the different use cases of scheduling from within the partnering system. So I think what we may do now is move over into the Q&A portion. And I believe, Dr. Lin, we have kind of a special guest that may be sharing a testimonial with us.
Yes, thank you, Willie. And actually, we are very delighted to invite Joyce and Tony to participate with us, as not only they would attend the one-on-one meetings later, but also they do have more than 100 times experience for arranging meetings during these years. So that actually I would like to invite them, either Joyce or Tony, to share some of their experience. And thank you, Willie, for you to share the slides. I think will Joyce share with us some of the experience. So Joyce, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Joyce Dai, and thank you, Dr. William Lin and Willie Reeves' introduction is very clear, and I think it's make the audience more easy to image what I'm talking about following. And I'm Joyce Dai from the Development Center for Biotechnology in Taiwan, and it's my pleasure to be here to share my experience in BioConference one-on-one partnering. And I am in the business development department in DCB. So my job is to find a cooperating partner or licenses for DCB in-house assets. And DCB is a new drug and the Paraphone Development Center's modality covers small molecular to biologics from the discovery stage to close to IND. So the BioConference, the one-on-one partnering is a very important event for for us. And especially from last year, it moved to the online meetings and it becomes a no distance limitation and effective. So I can sit in my office and connect with a potential partner from all over the world. Just like now, I'm in my office and I can connect with all of you. So from 2020, last year to now, DCB has attended 8 international exhibitions, including BioConference, and met with 120 companies in 150 one-on-one partner meetings. So this system is benefit a lot, and I think it is a mass margin in the business connection. And here, I would like to share some of my experience in how I arrange the meeting. And thank you very much to Dr. Willie Reeves, and he introduced this system very, very clearly and in details. So I think the following, audience will easy to understand what I'm talking about. So before the arrange meeting first, we have to search, because I think everyone have a different purpose in the one-on-one meeting. And this information you can find in the company profile. And they may want to find a potential partner or a customer or investor. So we have to identify the companies who are fit what we are looking for. And next, after the advanced filter screen, you might get a big list of those companies. So next, I will do the analysis to figure out the highly potential company. So you may find some information from the company profile, and also you can find the company website link in the company profile. So I think this part is very important to you if you want to introduce yourself to all of the world, yes. And so next step is most important step for me. That is the communication and the topic focusing. So since we only have 30 minutes in the meetings, and if we can get focusing purpose before meetings, we can have a more effective discussion within 30 minutes. So for this part, the reply only message centers is very useful tool to do that. And finally, is enjoying the meeting and follow up to next step in exploring any opportunity in having a business relationship. And even if we can't satisfy the demand for each other immediately, but we already established a very valuable connection after this meeting. So I think this is the most important part. And I hope all of you have a fruitful meeting during BIO Asia. And I think we will meet soon in the meeting. So thank you for your listening and my sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you,
Joyce.
Joyce.
Yeah. So Willie, we have about 8 questions already comes in with the text. I personally have answer about 4 to 5, then briefly, but mainly I say I think it will be worthwhile to maybe answer it again for everybody. So would you mind maybe before the new questions comes in, can we just slightly go over for those questions?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's just start at the top here. So one question, will the conference be recorded and posted online? Yes, we are recording it now. Anyone who is registered for the webinar will get a link to the recording as well as the slides here within a few days. And the recording will also be posted onto BIO's YouTube channel.
Yeah, but I think the people ask is that for the whole conference, would it be recorded? So can we go back? Would you mind go back to the first few slides for the conference? Yes, this one maybe. Okay, so this one is that the conference will be shown like the ordinary on-site conference. That means there will be a scheduled section, but after the scheduled section, for example, in the morning, then after that, in the morning sections, it will be turned to be a on-demand section so that you can view that one after the first broadcast. So for example, for the Wednesday morning section, maybe during the afternoon, and for whole the period, you can go to the on-demand picking list and replay it and listen to that one again and again. So basically, that will be the service, and that's the beauty for the online conference. That is, you can have the real-time experience, because the real-time experience provide you a chatting room function. So if the speaker are available, you can chat and interact with them by texting and obtain the real-time most updated data. But if you miss that one, or if your colleague cannot attend that one, if they are registered, they can come back to go to the on-demand section and then replay it again. The same thing is for the satellite conference. For example, Willie, would you mind to go to the next slide, please?
Sure.
Satellite. Next one, please. Next one. Yeah, okay. For example, the main section, we were talking about lots of new things, cutting edge things for the in this new era. So this could be available for on demand after the first broadcasting. But there are quite a few things we would like to have it in a more in-depth discussion and more information. For example, after the pandemic in this new era, how people would do for clinical trials? Is there new regulations? How the patient be recruited? So that we will have satellite conference. Each satellite conference will also have 90 minutes length to discuss those things in depth. For example, we will have a dedicated satellite conference for how to do the recruitment for the development, research and development for clinical trials after in this new era. And another conference, a satellite conference, we would discuss how to do the clinical trial design under the new regulation after the pandemic. And also there are sections more focused on how to bring out the research value to commercialization, which we will have a satellite conference working together with Global Spark program, and so on and so forth. So those are the satellite conference, as they are more in-depth topics related with the main theme. But if there's not enough time to do it for each main section, then we will have more workshops and satellite conference opening for that particular sections. So that's basically, I think it's answer about the recording and what is a satellite conference.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think people are very, we value the one-on-one partnering system very much. So one question is, would this system available in November, because we're going to have on-site exhibition in November? I think the answer is no. The meeting request and the partnering matching function will not be available in November. So please take advantage of all you can have during the conference period in July and grab all the opportunity of that. But after the meeting, after July, I think the database, the meeting records, and all the other things you can utilize until maybe for almost a year. Would you like to? Yes.
Yeah, I'll add a little bit of additional color to that. Thanks, Dr. Lin. So indeed, after the conference ends in July, the ability to send new meeting requests will go away inside the system. However, for at least a year, at least a calendar year from the conference, you'll still be able to log into partnering. You can go into your message center and you can follow up with companies that you already have a meeting request with. So you can, for example, click reply only and continue discussing and maybe even set up an offline meeting for after the event, but you will not be able to set up new meetings or send new meeting requests after the conference has ended.
Yeah, so please do take advantage of the online function of the arranging meeting in July. And for November, when you have on-site exhibition, then take advantage of the person-to-person engagement and the personal touch, meeting face-to-face during the on-site exhibition in November. Of course, we will still have an online exhibition along with the on-site exhibition in November. But I think I would suggest you to make the fully use of the whole function of this system in July.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one about the invitation letter. Willie, please.
Yes, so the next question is about if a meeting request has already been sent to a particular company. Are you able, let's see, can I exclude it when searching for other conditions? So great question. As you are searching, let's see if I can find an example. It looks like I don't have an existing request. Let me show you an example quickly. Okay, Breakthrough Medicines Association. So for example, as I am searching for different companies, you can see in the search section if you have an existing meeting request with someone, it will show the meeting request status over here. So it would say, for example, requested or scheduled to make it easy for you to read through those quickly. There's also a question, will the system inform me through email if there are changes or upcoming events such as meeting reschedules? Indeed, yes. So the partnering system, as you have meetings that are scheduled or rescheduled or canceled, you will receive email notifications automatically into your email, as well as Outlook calendar invitations and updates in your Outlook. If you would like to change those settings, you can always do that here with your headshot and in the notification preferences section. But yes, by default, you'll definitely stay informed of the things that are happening. And then you can also add the programming sessions to your calendar as well. Another question, is it possible to see the meeting requesters availability on the calendar? So when you pull up the calendar for scheduling a meeting, you will be able to see that information. So as we were talking about earlier, red means there's a meeting, can't have it, you can't have that time. Yellow, someone is unavailable, and then green, the mutually available time slots. So indeed, yes, you will be able to see that information.
So to see the information of your counterpart.
Yes, exactly. So we, don't show, of course, who other people are meeting with and that sort of thing for privacy reasons, but definitely give you all the info you need to be able to schedule meetings with people. And it looks like our last question here, do all the meetings and conferences going to be held through Zoom? Can I join via Teams? So as you are scheduling meetings, let's see, for example, and click on the options here. If I use a virtual meeting provided by a virtual link provided by the event button, that's always going to be Zoom. That's the automatically provided BIO secure Zoom links. If you want to use something else like Teams, you would click enter your own virtual location. And then here in this kind of red field, you enter in your Teams link, and any additional dial-ins and passwords and those sorts of things would go in this field. So if you want to, yes, you can use another platform, but that is more work, frankly, than using kind of the automatic Zoom option.
Yeah, it looks like the Zoom is the default, but you can still provide the link of other platform, for example, like Teams, Google Meet, or WebEx to your counterpart so that they can link through your link. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes. And even if you wanted, for example, to put in your phone number here to set up a phone call, you can enter any of that information in this new location field.
Yeah. So if you want, you can use WhatsApp or whatever, any kind of social media, as long as you can text them or send them your link to them through either email or through the calendar or whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely. Any last questions from our Q&A? We've had some great inquiries here. Looks like, Dr. Lin, we have answered everything that is in the queue, and I see we're running just a couple of minutes over, but that's because there's so much great content to cover for BIO Asia-Taiwan. It's hard to do it all in just an hour. So I think with that, we can jump over to kind of our closing slide. And we are so grateful for everyone for joining the webinar tonight, today, wherever you, whatever time may be most relevant for you. And we definitely look forward to seeing you at BIO Asia-Taiwan. So from July 21st to the 25th there, we've also listed the customer service information for the partnering team at BIO, as well as the registration team for Taiwan BIO. And keep in mind that this webinar has been recorded, and in the next couple of days, we'll be sending out a link to the webinar recording as well as to the slides. So if you have a colleague who wasn't able to join the webinar, we definitely would encourage you to forward that along to them and share the knowledge and the wealth that will help you to have a great experience like Joyce was sharing with us earlier. Dr. Lin?
Yeah, so thank you, Willie, and thank you, everybody, and also special thank you to Joyce to take effort to share your experience. Very helpful. And hope everybody will have a great day, great night, and see you very soon in BIO Asia-Taiwan.
Perfect. See everyone in 3 weeks, and thanks again for joining.
Bye.
Bye-bye.